Arted on the beat.
live on your end?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So I got here 30 minutes early. I was setting things up. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? It is quiet. I need some background music. Hold on. Where's my Pizzle pack? Shout out to T Pain for making Pizzle pack. For those of us that like to stream with some background music without getting that copyright ding. So appreciate you, Fama Jam. Um, just gonna get that settled in the background so we have some mood music, if you will. It may be loud as fuck, but we'll adjust. Look at them bars. Um, yeah, there we go. Okay. Now we got some tunes in the background. We loving it. We liking it. We like it. We like it. Yeah. So before we get started, as per usual, introductions are a must. I'm your co-host, Nerdvana83. This right chair is Ajax G, your other co-host. Um, Start the people off. Jax, how was your week? Highlights, lowlights, no lights? She's only here in physical capacity, guys. She's not here with us
Okay, there we go.
mentally,
Um,
clearly.
my week was good. It felt like it was so long. It was taking so long to get to the weekend. But other than that, my week was pretty good.
What
Yeah.
was a highlight of your week?
Um, I don't really have any highlights this week.
Damn, I'm telling Zay you don't have nothing good to yap about.
Oh, my anniversary was this Friday.
Yes. Is that not a good thing? Is that not a highlight of your week?
It is a highlight, but
Hmm.
it doesn't
Right.
maybe the day. But
Something happened that was better than you celebrating. What is it? 25 years of love? Is that?
I'm crying. And 17.
That's amazing. Some people don't make 17 months, let alone 17 years.
This is true.
Um, Thank you. You know, shout out where shout out is due. Kiki says my week has been fine. I got my kiddo signed up for some dance classes. Hey yo, celebrate them doing well in school. We love to see it. We love that. We love when kiddos do well in school. As an educator, I personally love when the kids do well in school. um, Piggybacking off of that doing well, I will start with a low light and then end with the highlight. So a low light, I got a kid that's not doing so well, and I call the mother and be like, "Hey, how can we like correct this? Where grades are gonna be due in like 4 weeks, so I want to make sure we get ahead of this." And she basically was like, mm. And I feel bad because it's like if you, the parent, don't know how to help, we can't do nothing in school that's gonna like it got to be reinforced. It has to be a united front. So if I'm like, hey, your kid's not doing well, and she like, okay, and I'm like, yeah, so how can we help? I don't know. All
Imagine.
right, and I'm just, so that sucked because I like when things have like a clear path of to a resolution, and that felt like it just poofed in the ether. I did not like that. A highlight. I got a text this morning from one of my homegirls. She is engaged. We love to see it. We love to see it. So, for those of you who don't know, one of our dear friends, Miss Monica, finally got engaged, and we're very, 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 very excited for her. So we just love love. We love love around these parts, right, Jax? We love love.
We love love.
Jax is not sounding convincing, but I assure you, she loves love. You sounded like how I'll be like, yeah. She loves
It's a
love.
wonderful thing.
Yes, it is. It is a beautiful thing. You know what also is a wonderful thing. It's a, I feel like this is a murky waters to venture into because so many of us don't know nothing. Um, but AI, it's both a gift and a curse. I see, for at least from my perspective, gift and a curse. Kuchiki says, "Imagine if parents received a paycheck for every A their kids got. Bet she'd have something to say then. You know. I don't think you're wrong there. I feel like I was having this conversation last week with a kid because she was like, my ADHD prevents me from doing things, and I wish I could be better. And I was like, you have to gamify your tasks. Like you need a reward. You need an instant consequence, good or bad, but something has to happen immediately when you do something for you to feel compelled to do it. I was like, it's why you wait till like your assignment is due the very next day to be like, oh, I gotta do it now, because the reward is immediate. You do the assignment, you go to bed, you wake up. There's the consequence. It's gonna either be a reward or a punishment, but it's a consequence nonetheless. So to that point, Kuchiki, I think if parents also received a consequence for how their kids performed, it might be a greater motivational factor. But I will say that there are some parents that go like hard in the paint and fight for their kids to have everything under the sun when it doesn't lend itself to like the evidence doesn't lend itself to supporting that need. So like I have a parent who was like, he needs an IEP, he needs a 504, he needs extended time, he needs every support under the sun. Her kid's an A student. like you, and I've worked with the kid, and I'm like, the kid's an A student, and I don't really help. Like, I don't help beyond what a regular classroom would offer. Like, regular classrooms essentially allow extensions if you reach out for an extension. Regular classrooms give guided notes and graphic organizers to help you keep up with the content, just to help you stay organized. So I'm like, I understand the fight because you want your child to have the best and do the best and be the best, but sometimes you be fighting for first place from first place. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I don't know about that one because I feel like the people that would be more motivated are the people that don't need motivation. You already in first place. Why are you arguing with us? Like you're already, yeah.
Because you want to make sure you stay there.
But then that's a conversation between you and your child, not for everybody else to bend over backwards for your child. Your child being,
That is what the services are there for. That's why they put them in public school. They don't got to pay to make sure they get all those services.
but that's what I'm saying. What I've noticed by and large is that the services aren't necessarily individualized depending on who's writing the IEP, right? So like when I write IEPs, I think specifically what does this one child need that no one else really gets that they benefit from. And so then it'll be parents being like, you got to add graphic organizers. And I'm like, but if in my class everyone gets a graphic organizer, that's not individualized. That's not something that only your kid's getting. That's something everybody gets. So like you're asking for stuff that everyone gets, but you want it in black and white that your kid is going to get it. And I'm like, that's not individualized. That's not anything specific to the needs of your child. I have one kid who I wrote it and it actually is individualized. Like homie needs monitored breaks because he has to move. He needs tactile kinesthetics in class. So I usually let him play with my Rubik's Cube. He's got to be doing a thing. And when he's doing the thing, he's still listening. But if he doesn't have something like to touch, to play with in class, he's not listening because he focused on trying to get something to play with. That's individualized because nobody else gets a tactile fidget toy during the instruction. You know what I mean? And that's when I'm like, what are we doing here? Like what are we doing? Then I got one kid talk about some, yeah, if you take this service off, I'm gonna just use ChatGPT. And I'm like, honey boo boo child. First off, you said that to a teacher. Let's start there.
But my thing is it like not allowed in
What, ChatGPT?
yeah. Like, is
No,
that not a tool that they can use?
no. They can't even have cell phones now. So, no. They can use
Why
DOE
why
issued
can't
device.
why can't they use Chat GPT? Like, what is the reasoning why they can't use it?
As you are learning, you have to develop the skills for ChatGPT and other AI bots to be a tool. They're not using it as a tool, they're using it to do the thinking for them. So you're blocking your own learning using the tool, using the AI to do it for you, but now you know nothing. So it's different when you and I use
So
it
then,
because
know? How do you know a student is not using it as as a resource, as a tool?
your grades say that you don't understand science, but your lab report is talking about college level biology that we didn't teach you yet. That's the difference. So you're producing work that is high level, but you don't understand the work that you're producing because you haven't taken the time to actually learn the thing. You're just getting it to do your work for you. And that's not using it as a tool, that's using it as a tutor, if you will. Not even like, I think that the difference is, for example, if you and I were to use it, one, we could check and see if it's right because we have the knowledge to understand logically, does your answer actually make sense? Add to that, when we get a response and something doesn't make sense, we take it a step further to go make sure that shit makes sense to us. Kids aren't doing that. They're like, oh, I don't want to write a paper on Western civilization. ChatGPT, give me a paper on Western civilization. They don't even read it for real. They copy paste, so they have no idea what they're talking about.
Okay,
So,
so I'm not talking about specifically the kids that use it that have no idea. Like you, as an example, you write emails that are very sound as an adult, and other adults that read it, because they don't believe and a person can write like this, they think you're writing an AI one, and you yourself has written something and put it in the checker to say, oh, let's see how much AI it is, and it says 90 something percent, and you and I both know you sat there and wrote that for 20 minutes or whatever.
true story.
So my question is, how does that apply to the high skill students? Because I have an example of someone who actually, it was like creative writing. They had to write their own story. I know she sat there and wrote. This is before AI, but I'm just saying. I know she sat there and wrote that whole thing by herself. And this is when you could like buy essays and shit online. So it wasn't like it wasn't possible, but I know she sat there and wrote it. And her teacher said, "There's no way you wrote this. Where did you buy this from?" So how can you guys determine the high skill students that write stuff, and let's say you put in the AI generator and it says 90% AI, but they did all the research and they put all the work. Or even if they use AI, they fact check themselves.
It's about your ability to talk about the things you wrote about. So when I have a kid that like I never forget. This kid wrote a paper talking about the what's the book Holden, Catcher in the Rye. Now I know the kid didn't read the book. The kid knows that the kid didn't read the book, and I know they didn't read it because the kid told me they didn't read it. So how are you writing a book you didn't read? So all I did, because in their chapter they start talking about a relationship that the Holden had with one of the girls. So I started asking him about that relationship, and I switched the name. And then as I switched the name, I also switched like it was a different woman. Like I was talking about a totally different character, specifically his sister in the book. You would know that that's Holden's sister if you read the book. So I'm asking him about his relationship with his own sister, and the kid's like, yeah, 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 and it said he was kissing and da 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 da, going off on this whole tangent. You're making it evidently clear that you didn't read the book, and because you didn't read the book, you couldn't have possibly written this paper because what you're writing in the paper doesn't match up with what you concretely know, or what you can prove that you know. The difference is when you have a kid, because I've had kids write high level text, but consistently their handwritten work has been high level. Consistently, the way that they talk has also been sophisticated. It's when you have shown none of that. You're barely in class, and all of a sudden, you give me this college level essay, and you don't even know what you wrote. You don't even know what's in there. You can't defend it. And I think that's the piece that most kids are missing. They think that teachers only care about, like, did you do the assignment? No, we care about, did you learn? So if you can't explain what you wrote about, even if you use ChatGPT, that's the part where we're like, now you got to do it over. If we're gracious enough to let you do it over. Most of my colleagues are like, the moment you cheat, it's a dub. You got to hold that L.
That's interesting because I have one professor that is fine with us using AI because, as we all know, most technology is used by the government before it's put out to us, and AI has been used for decades.
Yeah, but like, to your
One
point,
professor was like, "Don't use AI, build everything from scratch." But the professor that says build everything from scratch, even before ChatGPT, most people was getting their code from Stack Overflow. Like what I'm like my thing. Like again, it just it doesn't make sense. Again, I actually know how to do whatever XYZ, but
that's the part.
there's some things that some developers don't know how to build at all, and they'll literally grab pieces from the internet and put it together and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They can kind of explain it, but as long as it
Right.
works, it works. So
Okay.
I don't understand how it can actually be used as a resource, but
Mm-hmm.
it's considered cheating when that stuff is readily available on the internet. Like honestly, instead of typing in ChatGPT, you can actually type it into Google, and there's actually code that you can put into the search bar. It's not really code, but like to hyper focus in on what you're looking for, and then you'll find it. ChatGPT just doesn't just pulls it from every. It just it's a
But that's what
mess.
I'm saying.
I'm scraping.
Even your professor that was like, you could use it, was like, you better know what you're talking about though. So
Right,
it's, but that's the piece that I'm saying is missing.
but
Kids are using it.
who
Kids are
cheats
using it,
that doesn't know what they're like?
ma'am. That's what we're talking about.
but I'm saying like who cheats and doesn't like
A lot
make
of the
sure
kids.
like okay when it's time for me to talk, I can talk about this.
That's what we're getting at. The kids aren't using it as an extension of their own brain. They're not using it like, oh, I have an idea. I just need the exact code to put it through, but I can explain. I'll take the time to figure out the understanding why that code works. Kids aren't doing that. Kids are just write my paper.
See,
And they'll read the paper to make sure, some of them will read the paper to make sure they know what's in the paper, but they can't explain why certain things played out the way that it did. Like they could
okay,
write a paper about World War II, but can't tell you why World War II happened. Then how'd you write about the paper if you,
okay,
that's what we're getting.
so for the kid that didn't read the book, like let's give an example, and I'm gonna give an example because I'm grown now and we can talk about it. All right, I've earned my degrees and my diplomas. Now
Apparently not. She used Chat GPT for them degrees,
in
apparently.
college, no.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like, was it out when I was in college? I don't think so. Anyways, when I went to college, I was very scared of being I forgot what it's called, but it's like if you get expelled for cheating, like you are on a list where you can't get into certain colleges.
Blacklisted?
It's not even blacklisted. Like it's a specific name that my professor said, but it's like it's a
Mm.
list where if you got dismissed for cheating, you're never getting into those colleges no matter what you do. And I'm like, oh, I'm never cheating ever.
Damn. I ain't get that
So
scare.
he probably lying, but it was a she. She probably lying, but I don't know. Anyways, so in high school, we had to read. Is it one flew over the cuckoo's nest? I think that's the name of the book because the movie had Jack Nicholson in it. So I we had to do a report over the summer. We had to read I think two or three books and write three essays. And I was like, I'm not doing all of this. Okay. So during the summertime, we had to like go to school, and our teacher was like, "Listen, I graduated from Brown. Shout out to her." And she was like, "Honestly, yes, I teach English, and yes, I'm skilled and I understand. But the best skill that I'm going to teach you is the art of bullshit." So before we went off, because we had to like go to the class before summertime, she was like, when you're reading something, if you don't know what the fuck it's talking about, find something that you understand what the fuck it's talking about and write on that. And I was like, copy. So it's a week before this is due, and I'm like, I didn't even open the book. So I was like, Spark Notes time. So I go to
Spark Notes go crazy.
I go to Spark Notes. I literally get a summary of each chapter. I'm like, copy, because it was like we had to read the book and compare it to another book or compare it to a movie or compare it to the movie. So I was like, fuck it, I'll watch the whole movie. Let's get it. Watched the whole movie, read the Spark Notes, and there was like 2 chapters. And I was like, okay, there's a part of the movie that I can really do a comparative essay. Boom, I'm going to read these 2 chapters. So I only read those 2 chapters. And then use Spark Notes, and then, you know, got a calm A. But my point is that cheating or is that using my resources?
That's cheating.
How is it cheating?
You literally just admitted that you didn't read the book.
But
you
I
took.
No. Hey.
Hey, it's for horses. You just said.
I read what I needed to write my essay about. How is that cheating?
Were you supposed to read the book for the class?
For the essay, yeah.
Right. And you only chose specific chapters based off of the movie that you saw. So you didn't read the book. There could have been a plethora of other things in that book that could have spoken to you, but you'll never know because you refused to read the book. You took somebody else's regurgitated ass summary and was like, bet, I'm going to write off what you wrote. Like, you basically took someone's literal cud. Like, no.
But I literally wrote, but I didn't copy anything from
Thank you, Kuchiki. Kuchiki said you were using your resources to cheat.
But the assignment was the essay. It wasn't to read the entire book. Well, the read the book was going to help you with your essay, but it was literally make a comparative essay either off of another book or of the movie.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you could have told your professor as you were turning in your essay, like, yeah, I didn't even read the book, girl. I went on Spark Notes. I just read these 2 chapters and watched the movie.
That wasn't college. It was high school.
Okay. Do you feel like you could have told your teacher, I didn't read the book. I just read 2 chapters, read the Spark Notes, and watched the movie. Giving her...
I think I did tell her I did that.
After you got your grade or before?
Maybe after. But she could have revoked the grade. She didn't.
What do you
She literally was like, this essay was actually... She was like, I don't know if everyone else read it, but this essay was actually pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, so I did what you taught us before during the thing. And she was like, I wouldn't have known had you not told me. But it literally... I wasn't afraid to be like, yeah, I didn't read the shit. Like,
yeah, but I'm saying, would you have told, the mark of dishonesty stems from how much work do you do to cover it up? And the work you did to cover it up was you read the summaries, you read just 2 chapters so you could be an expert on those 2 chapters, and you watched the movie, which did not include reading the book, even though that was part of the task, right? Read the book and then compare it to something else. You took the most direct path to what you wanted to do, not necessarily addressing the entirety of the assignment. That's 1. 2, if you truly felt like you didn't do anything wrong and like you were just using your resources, you would have just been talking to her, rap to her, and let her know, like, hey, yeah, girl, I couldn't read that book, but here's my paper. You wouldn't have been so... Right. You wouldn't have been like, let me not tell you till after I get my grade. Because after I get my grade, because after you get the grade, she can change it, but she has to change it based on data. And she doesn't have any proof outside of what you said, because you didn't send an email saying I cheated. Yeah, she has no proof. Exactly. But I'm saying, like, it's not just like, oh, we changed the grade. It's like you have to see where the grade change stems from. And there's nothing that you wrote in there that would have supported a grade change. So you were, in effect, safe from telling her you cheated after the fact because she can't prove it. You didn't steal somebody else's work, so it's not somebody else's work out there. It was a conversation that you had
Right, it's
between.
my work though. That's the thing. See, it's my
It's
work.
not your work. It's not your interpretation. Here's why it's not your work. It's not your intellectual property because you didn't even read the book. You went to two different specific places, two chapters and a movie, and then read someone else's interpretation and understanding of the book to make sense of it. That's not your understanding interpretation. And you know that sometimes you can have a different understanding of something because we have different understandings of conversations all the goddamn time. So that's why I'm like, it really wasn't though. The only thing that was yours was your understanding of those two chapters and your understanding of the movie. Outside of that, once you use the summary, it's not your work because it's not your understanding. You could read the same thing and interpret it differently. That's your understanding of it.
But if I didn't use the summaries to write the paper, how was that cheating?
If you use what you said
that I wrote about.
Right, but you said you read the summary, and from the summary, you were like, "Oh, these two chapters are gonna align with what I want to say." That's based on someone's interpretation of that book in its entirety. If you would have read the book, there might have been a different.
Had I read those two chapters, and I said, "Oh, this summary was nothing at all what I was expecting," I would have had to read.
But that's what I'm saying. You made the decision of what pieces to read based on someone else's interpretation, which thereby robbed you of the opportunity to make your own assessments. You went into it with a preconceived notion because you already had an idea of what it should sound like. So even if it could have been interpreted a different way, you already have somebody else's ideas in your head telling you this is what it should sound like. So that's what makes sense now. You didn't go in with a blank slate. It's like when you watch a movie and you haven't read the synopsis, you haven't seen any commercials, you go in with no expectations and you have a different interpretation of what you're viewing because you didn't expect a certain thing versus someone who has seen the synopsis, seen the trailer, seen everybody's think pieces all on the internet, and then they watch the same thing and it don't hit for them the same. Perfect example of that was Sinners. You walked into Sinners blank slate. You had no idea what to expect. And you were like, this movie's amazing. I walked into it like everyone's already told me what I'm supposed to think, feel, see, hear. So when I was like, it was good. I had one scene I liked, but the rest of it didn't hit me the way it hit you because I had everybody else's interpretation already. It changes how you see something. And that's all I'm saying. And that's the piece where I'm like, using someone else's summary is telling you essentially whether you have that consciously in the forefront of your mind or subconsciously in the back. It's already telling you what you should expect. So you don't have the luxury. It's like when you read a book and then you go and watch the movie or show. We were just talking about this like a week ago. Where you were like, no, I've already decided what the character sounds like. And it doesn't match what I thought. Exactly. It is someone else's interpretation of the same material. But because you read it yourself first, you've already given that character a voice, a face, a whole personality. So when you see it brought to life, be it a TV show or a movie, if it doesn't match what you thought, you're like, no, I don't like this now. It's not necessarily a wrong interpretation, but it don't match what you thought. And so you...
For your example, like your student, you said he did the Chat GPT and he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about.
Couldn't explain nothing. No.
Right? And then you said like his, I guess, written skills didn't match the paper.
At all.
The reason why I'm like, I don't see how, I guess, the two count as cheating because my paper wasn't written in a way like, oh, she didn't write this shit. It was like, all of my, like if I didn't have the skill, again, like you said, use your resources to cheat. If I didn't have the skills to write that paper, right? Let's say I read the summaries or whatever, and then I read the two chapters. If I didn't have the skills of the skills behind writing a comparative essay, me doing all that would have been no point.
But isn't that what I led with? I said the difference between you and I using something like AI is that we already have the skills and we're using it as a tool to sharpen the skills we already have.
Right.
Kids are just using it and they don't have the skill at all. And in
But
your
that's why I
case,
asked
when
you,
you're
like the higher skilled kids, when they use it as a resource, does it still count for them as cheating? That was my question.
it depends on, so like if when you use Grammarly to correct your goddamn grammar, technically that's AI. But it's not counted as cheating because you have done the bulk of the heavy lifting and you're using it to proofread. Now theoretically the idea is that it proofreads and only addresses grammar and syntax and you learn from that so that you can do it yourself. But to that, we also let kids know, like,
I
hey,
don't
if you,
think I don't think they like learn from that. I think they're just like, oh, okay, I spelled it wrong. Oh, I forgot a comma. Like, I don't think
that's why I said
without
theoretically.
that. Oh.
So, I added the word. I know. I'm aware.
I'm like, I don't think
Cause
like
but then we let them know, like, eventually, essentially, in any context where you need to be able to express yourself in written word, if you don't have this ability, you can't tell when it incorrectly corrects you. Because I can tell when it incorrectly corrects me.
yeah. Or like if
You
it's like a homophone's gonna tear them up if they don't
Yeah, and
know.
so then I'm like, that is a clear sign of like you don't actually have the skill because you're not taking the thing to build your skill. So when it puts a comma someplace that a comma doesn't belong, you don't know how to use a comma. You don't know that a comma is typically meant to interrupt the subject and the predicate. Like you don't know these things. So when it tells you to put a comma randomly, like I, comma, your name, da 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 da, like you don't know if that's right or wrong. You're just going by what it says, and it can be wrong. It oftentimes will be like, you got to check us because it's artificial over here. We don't know. We just guessing, going with the data. It's not always right.
Right.
So I think
Because even to this day, like sometimes when I see a comma, I'm like, why does the comma have to be there? Commas tear me up. I got periods, okay, I got semicolons and I got colons, but commas, I never know. I just be like, all right,
oh,
you
here's the
put
doozy. What's
there,
the difference between a semicolon and a colon? How do you use them? Can you use them interchangeably?
no,
Elaborate.
because you didn't say, are you sure?
Why are you like this?
I feel
Does
like
the semicolon have the comma or no?
yes.
Okay, what's the
I know what
semicolon
a
used
semicolon
for? Hey, kids don't know.
is
What
used
is
to
the
center
semicolon?
put a colon.
So when she told, I know it's I know semicolon and colon, and I just asked her, she
I
don't
just
know.
when I'm writing, I know when to use it, when not to use it. Do I know exactly? Like, can I explain it? No, but I know if I see a semicolon, I'll be like, that's not supposed to be there. But I can't.
Typically, well, let me
I'm
help you out.
traumatized from my fifth grade teacher. I'm sorry.
You oftentimes will see a colon if someone is going to list something, if someone is adding an explanation for something. You often will see a semicolon when you're connecting two independent clauses.
Got you. Like when people use however
sometimes
hereafter, right?
sometimes people will not know the difference, use them interchangeably, and then they're not using them correctly because you're just using like a semicolon like for a comma. And I'm like, mm-mm.
No.
And so that's why I'm like, if you don't know, then even when AI corrects you, you can't tell that, oh, that correction wasn't valid.
Speaking
Like it
of that,
wasn't accurate.
shout out to Nerd for telling me the correct definition of consequence. Because when we all learned consequence as a kid, because again, wasn't big on dictionary. If an adult
Right.
used it and I understood the situation, I'm like, okay, that's the definition. Um, so I thought consequence meant like, oh, you did something bad happened, blah blah blah. So my exam that I just took, it was like what it was a consequence of Snowden, da 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 da. So basically, what Snowden was the top 10 tech companies was working with the NSA, and behind the scenes, the NSA was stealing people's data, even though they wasn't supposed to. It was more like the top 10 companies will share it if they ask, depending on whatever it was. And someone leaked that Snowden was actually taking everything, whenever the fuck they wanted. So after that, the top 10 companies decided they're gonna ramp up their encryption and stuff to protect users' data. So it was like, what was a consequence of the Snowden situation? And nothing that was there was a negative effect. So I was like, I know the definition now. So I just, yeah, yeah, my strong suit is math and science. So
Mind you,
English,
she cussed me out like a week or so ago. She's like, no, because now you got me fact checking people.
yes, I did because I was, you know what? I
Yeah.
was very much I know what I said type of person, but now I'm like, no, now I'm gonna hit you with the definition, and it's quite annoying. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It's
I'm
not.
annoyed at myself that I'm checking people. So
Well, it's because they try to check you and they are whole ass wrong. I hate when a person comes to me with, well, my understanding, I don't give a fuck about your understanding. What is the actual literal definition? Show me in the dictionary where it says the consequence must be bad. Because the definition just says it is a result. It is the result of an action. That is the definition. It can be good, it can be bad, because the result can be good or bad. Stop telling me, oh, consequence. You mean reward? Because I had somebody tell me that last week at my job, full of educators. When I said he just needs a consequence. Well, I don't think it needs to be bad. I didn't say that. I said a consequence. Right. And I was thinking a reward, which is also a consequence. What do you mean? What do you mean?
I know their brain short circuited because mine would have too. I would have been like a reward. The consequences of a reward. But again, this is the problem with like I think it was after sixth grade.
Mm.
My teacher stopped saying check the dictionary. It was more like you asked about it, you say, oh, what does this word mean? And they would give you some sort of definition. And it was like, well, you're the teacher, you went to college. The fuck I'm gonna check a dictionary for? Now the only time I ever checked teachers was math and science because there's only one right answer. So what the fuck you mean?
It depends on which math. Sometimes it's
It depends on the I'm talking about 12th grade and down. We're not talking about zero infinity and doesn't exist. Okay? 12th grade and down. But it was very much like English. I was just like, okay, face value. If you went to school for this, I didn't. I'm in school right now. So, but
you didn't have that energy for math.
didn't have the energy for math and science because you're telling because I know the answers right, and I know the 5 other people that's doing amazing in this class know you're wrong, but the other idiots they're gonna be like write it down and they're gonna just believe what you're saying because they all hate math and they're just writing what you say. It's the truth. Like I don't think I've ever in all of my classes ever had someone correct an English teacher. I've had people correct history teachers, science teachers, and math teachers. English,
No, I've corrected my English teacher before.
is we've all just been like, okay. Actually, I didn't correct the person, but I I checked with the actual teacher of the room. This is when I was a para, and the student teacher, the NYU student teacher, was teaching a lesson, and I think he was talking about what we doing. Was it memoirs or I can't remember what they were writing about. And he had said something that was not it at all. Like, and I went and I was like, excuse me, to the baddie that was the 6th grade black teacher. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, excuse
I
me,
do.
isn't the definition of that this? She was like, yes, honey. And I went to my student, I said, listen, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You can zone out right now. Cause
Yo.
and
Yo.
he would correct me. He would try to correct me.
And
And
my
I'm like,
boy.
granted, and listen, he would double check or he would try to correct me. I'm like, fair, let's see. Let's ask the teacher if you want to go against. But I appreciate that because I'm like, that's good. You're not just taking whatever the fucking adult says.
Exactly.
And I like that. But I forgot where my point was going with this. But knowing the definition. It's very important to know the definition
It
of
is.
things. And like, even in college, like I very much was Me and dictionary.com and thesaurus.com was locked in. Okay, locked in because I had to make sure my sentences make sense.
Yeah. And so
Like if you
I'm
had AI and you would look up something, you it wouldn't be helpful.
because one of my favorite words that people don't they think they know and they'll be close but not like no cigar is compromise. What's a compromise, Jax? What does it mean to compromise? What does it mean?
To work with a situation.
Right. To come to an agreement, if you will. Yes?
Yeah.
What people fail to realize because they've never looked at the dictionary definition is that compromise, by definition, includes both parties make a concession. So to come to that compromise, by definition, we're both giving up something. So if nobody gave up something, you didn't compromise.
You agree to disagree.
Not even that. But like, for example, if you're like, um, I want waffles, and I'm like, well, I want chicken. So then we decide to go to the diner and get chicken and waffles. That's not a compromise. Neither one of us gave up anything.
Because we both got what we wanted.
We both got exactly what we wanted. And people think that is compromise. Oh, well, it's we both win. No, a compromise means we both lose fairly, equally, but we both have to lose for it to, by definition, be a compromise. And
does it have to be equally?
By and large, I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be equal, but compromise means both parties took a L. And people think as long as we meet in the middle, if we both get what we want, then we compromise. No, you didn't. It's that's not you. You agreed. You agreed on something else, but you did not compromise because to compromise, you have to give up something. I'm like, you collaborated. You did not compromise. Those are two different things.
Collaborated is funny.
I mean, but that's, and I try not to be that person anymore because some people don't mind when I correct. Some people don't mind when I'm like, hey, let me double check that. They don't take it any type of way. They're like, yes, please, because I don't want to sound like an idiot in these streets, right? Like, but I also recognize that some people take that negatively and they'll perceive me as like, well, you're condescending and you make me feel like this big. And I'm like, I just don't want you to sound like an idiot. But if you'd like to, by all means. So now I don't correct anybody and I just be like, the only time.
I feel the same way. I feel mix of always being corrected and sometimes feeling a negative way. It depends on the person. Like you. At first, I was like, this
bitch.
They correcting a motherfucker. Like, damn, you know what the fuck I meant. And I know that's not what the fuck I said, but you know what the fuck I meant. But then I noticed like every time it would be like, before I made an assumption, I was like, let me just see. So it was like I noticed you would do it to help people or because you didn't think they knew what the fuck they were talking about. And I was like, oh, she genuinely just be trying to help people. Cool. Yeah. But sometimes people don't have that, like, let me check if it's me feeling an emotion because I was dumb in that instance and she let me know I was dumb in that instance.
Not even...
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people don't have that, let me check. Because I don't mind being corrected. And the only reason why I don't mind being corrected was because of my remedial reading teacher in college. Yes, I had to take remedial English. I got a 72 on my Regents. Let me live.
Woo!
I fell asleep.
Damn.
On the, yo. It's not fair. Because I fell asleep on the because the first time we had a different proctor and she woke me up when I drifted off. The second day, the second proctor, I dead fell asleep and she literally woke me up 5 minutes before the test was done. All I had was to bubble and everything. So it was like she violated. Now, granted, should I have had a good night's rest? Yes, but I was watching anime at 4 a.m. Oh well. Anyways,
which one?
I think I was
Kenshin?
watching.
Did you even watch Kenshin? Oh.
Yeah, that came on at 2. So at 3 to 4 was case closed. But
of course you were. You was up for that.
It was Inuyasha, Wolf Rain, Blue Sea, or Full Metal Alchemist, depending on the day. and then at 3 and 4 will be case closed.
Do you have the case closed like set?
I want it so bad, but I'm so poor. I want it bad.
I
want it
can't.
bad. Like even if it's like season 1 through 10, it don't or season 1 through 5. It don't got to be all of them because it's like 900 episodes. But 1 through 5 or 1 through 10, smile ear to ear. Like the shit probably connect to the back of my neck.
Please.
But my professor was like, because I think someone was like, oh, because surprisingly, I was in there like with grown. Like in my mind, I'm like, if you're grown, you shouldn't need remedial English. But it was like 50 and 60-year-olds in my class. And a lady was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to sound dumb, but what does this mean? And he was like, I want everyone to understand there's no way that you can sound dumb because you're in a learning environment. And he was like, would you rather be quiet and be dumb and still never know, or ask a question and now you know so you don't feel dumb ever again? And I was like,
I get that. I like that. But there are absolutely ways to sound dumb in a learning environment. Sorry, I never forget, we were teaching, for context, we were teaching 9th grade biology. And we were saying, I think we were saying like ligase is like the glue to your DNA. Like it zips it together. And it's, bless her heart, she was like, is it actual glue in your body?
my God.
I said the word like. I said it's like glue. And she said, is it Elmer's?
Oh, I've had a moment like that in school.
And ever since then, my co-teacher would be like, for context, it's not actual glue. Like now when we do that, she got to put it out there. But I'm like.
But it's a genuine question.
If I said the word like.
Yes.
Like is a simile, meaning not literally.
She didn't catch that.
No, because when she asked the question, this is why I love my co-teacher, because she recognizes like when she needs to step in. Because the kid asked me, and I was like, I said the word like. And then my co-teacher was like, no, the answer is no.
Right, exactly.
Because I'm confused why you confused. I said like. Don't like mean simile?
She may have missed the like. She may have.
But if she missed it, I then reiterated. I said like. And she still.
Maybe she just didn't replay the full
I love my co-teacher because she really be saving my life. And she's like, and I know you don't mean it. I know you are just as confused as the kids, but the kids think you looking at them like they dumb. And
when I told you this, you be like, it be that bad? I'm like,
but I genuinely am confused. I'm confused how you confused. We both confused.
I'm like, this teacher is frying 6th graders.
Now I'm frying 9th graders. I don't know.
Yeah, 9th grade, okay, fair. But 6th grade, I was sitting there like, my God.
I'm genuinely confused.
And the way I knew that I wasn't bugging is because one of our students, I'm gonna just call her M instead of saying her actually, like you would respond to a student like, did you really just ask me that? And she would bust out laughing. I'm like, yeah, because she's an honor student and she knows what the fuck I'm hearing. So I know once a kid laughs in a situation where you're being sarcastic, well, it sounds like you're being sarcastic. I'm like, okay, they're intelligent and they know what the fuck I'm hearing. Okay?
To be fair, at that time I was unaware of my autistic nature. Okay? Now I am aware and I make attempts to do better. I'm not doing much better, but I'm trying. And I think that matters most. But I think to even get to that point of like, I know better, you gotta know. And this generation, what I'm seeing by and large, is not interested in knowing. They're more interested in being right. Even if they don't understand why they're right, which is why they lean so heavily on AI, because like in their mind, it's right. even though they don't know why it's right, if it is right, how it's right. They can't explain any of the things. Their focus is, I'm right though. But I'm right though. And I'm like, but school is not about being right. School is about the journey of learning. It is why we're not a regent school, which means you do not have to pass the regents to graduate. You have to pass something called the PBAs, or the PBATs, as we like to say, performance based assessment task, to demonstrate your learning. And the focal point of a PBAT is your educational journey. How have you grown over time in the journey of learning for yourself? It's why you can take a math PBAT, have the wrong answer, and still pass, because if you can properly explain your journey as a student, like your thinking process, that is what we're looking for. We're looking to see, how do you problem solve? How do you perceive the world? How do you use the resources available to you to solve problems? Not necessarily is your answer right, because oftentimes the problem has a very complicated solution that you may not get to at your stage as an 11th grader, but you could get to with 5 more years of knowledge potentially, if you know what you're looking for. So to that end, I had a PBA where it was, how many different ways can this rabbit get up 10 steps by only hopping 1 or 2, any combination of 1 or 2 to get to 10? And this kid sat next to me and was like, can I chat GPT it? He said, can I research it? And I said, sure, you can research different strategies to find the answer. And then sitting next to him went straight to chat GPT to try to find the answer. Add to that, then he's like, here's the answer, but it was wrong. The answer was like 72. And I'm like, that's not right. That's not correct. But he can't explain why it's wrong. He's like, but it said it's right. Right, but if you look at the process, you'll see that it's wrong. You can see that that's not the end of the computation. They didn't finish computing. If you like, but you can't. He don't know that because he doesn't know the math. And even if he doesn't know the math concretely, he didn't, like, for me solving that problem, I would have just been like, okay, well, if I start with 2 steps, what are the different combinations? And if I start with 1 step, what are the different combinations? And add all my combinations up. So me having that thought process and thinking that's what he would do, I could clearly see the answer. But because he does not have the skill, he couldn't see that the answer was wrong.
So was it like they had to just create an equation to get to the 10th step?
You could have solved it anyway. It was more show your thinking.
Options, like, because like, was it like something like, okay, if you did the 2 steps, it would be like 8 factorial.
You just had to walk us through your thinking. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
you only had to
get to 10. That's all.
Walk us through your thinking.
10.
How many different ways can this rabbit get up the steps? Even if you couldn't solve it, walk us through what you tried to solve. And he couldn't do that. In his PBA, he wrote, this is the answer because the teacher said it was the answer. And it wasn't me. It was a different person. But that's what he wrote as part of like his rationale for how he knows his answer is correct. And I'm like,
at least he was honest.
but that's the piece where I'm like, the kids are so focused on, I gotta be right. And I'm like, you gotta know how to think. You gotta know how to question. You gotta know how to research. You're not getting that from ChatGPT because ChatGPT is doing it for you. So when it gives you some bullshit, you don't even know that it's bullshit because you don't know how to think. You don't know how to research. You don't know how to question.
Right.
And I'm like, that is what I mean when I'm like, if it's used as a tool because I have those skills already, it's less harmful because it'll give me the bare bones of like where I need to go to critique to be more precise with my response. But I already have the thinking pieces for my response. Like I was writing college recommendation letters. I never had to write them shits before. So I had a template that my colleague used. I had annotated for the pieces and then I wrote my recommendation and then I popped it in to be like, can I strengthen this in any way? And it literally, out of the 4, it gave me 3 sentences to improve out of the 4 recommendations I wrote. So I'm like, I clearly have the skill. but if I've never done it before, yes, I'm going to use your model. I'm going to make my own, and then I'm going to double check. Is there any way to enhance this a step further? Now, because I also understand English, I can see like, oh, the phrasing of this works better, or no, you're changing the context of what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to use that. Because even out of the 3 sentences it gave me, I only took the one, and then I still rephrased it because I didn't like how it was phrased. But I have that skill. And so that's what I mean when I'm like, is it helping us as a society or is it hurting us? And I think if you're exposed to it too early, it's hurting because now you don't have the skill at all.
Yeah, like if you start using it out the gate, because again, we've worked in middle school and high school, so I don't know what elementary school is teaching
Right.
or what they're not teaching anymore. And so,
That part.
prime example, it, obviously I don't do this because everything is digital, but in the event they come across a teacher that's old school and edits their papers with the symbols, they're cooked.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I am
again,
teacher that will edit your paper with the symbol, and then you'll be like, what does this mean? And I'm like, that means new paragraph.
right? Or like, and I don't even know why schools don't use this anymore. But Mad Libs used to be the funnest shit in the world to do because you would come up with the craziest stories. But I don't think students know.
They don't know what an adjective is, so they can't. Why are you laughing? I'm dead ass. Like, they have to be taught that. My ninth grade co-teacher, one of my ninth grade co-teachers last year for English, explicitly started off with, here is grammar, because you need to know how to write a proper, complete sentence. Because oftentimes the feedback kids will get is, this is an incomplete sentence, but they don't know what that means. So she explicitly taught it. But my other English ninth grade co-teacher didn't teach it. So one class could write grammatically now because they understand subject, predicate, they understand the parts of a sentence. The other class does not. And the hope is that you read enough sentences, you'll kind of get the, like, kind of how you're like, oh, if I've heard it in context, I can figure it out. But your vague understanding, your vague idea is not the same as a concrete definition. And concrete definitions are better with application. It's like when somebody, I'll never forget, when somebody asked one of my classmates in high school to define the word the. Now, the has a definition. The rest of us were like, how the fuck do you define that word? Right. How the fuck do you define that word? And she was the only one that could properly define the word the. I forget what the fuck she said. But I was like, that's how you, that is actually what it is.
The has a definition.
Look it up. Go to Oxford. Yep. Go to Oxford. Look at that definition. Now she took that definition and concretely applied it to the use and how it would be applied in a sentence. She was the only one of us that could do it. We all know how to use the.
Right.
I think she said something like it is an identifying marker when the term or the item is like incomplete or unknown or something like that. It was something that was like, oh, that actually makes mad sense.
What the?
She's the only one of us that could define the word.
It really has a fucking definition, guys.
Shout out to Bard High School Early College.
That is hilarious. If that was the $1 million question and they said, does the have a definition? I'm going to be like, no. I would say yes, only because it's a word. But if the question is like, what is the definition? I'd be like, there's no such thing.
Well, I think you would have maybe figured it out based on, because you do really well at like multiple choice.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
locked in.
Because like your ability to be like, that don't make no fucking sense. Cross that out. Now I'm left with the two. And then you'll start being like, well, this is how I would use it in a sentence. So I'm going with this one. And then you're right.
Shout out. You know, it's like pros and cons with that 5th grade English teacher. She tarnished my love for English and reading. But then at the same time, she definitely taught us how to ace an exam with multiple choice. I give her that, especially when it comes to like English. But after 5th grade, I was like, man, fuck all this reading shit. By fifth grade, I had a seventh grade reading level. So I was like, all right, I'm good for the next 2 years. So I was like, I'm good. But don't ask me to spell that. No. Don't ask me to
Yeah.
spell.
So
The has its own
the
definition.
has like I said, it's like a unique identifier for a specific item or something like that. That's what I think she said.
It
Because I was
says
like, oh shit, that makes so much
point
sense.
forward to a following, qualifying, or defined clause or phrase.
Like,
Yeah,
give me
that's
the ball implies there is only one ball being referenced.
right. It's not like saying thingy.
Please. So quick question, because we were talking about AI, but I don't know if like we understand what it is, I believe, but I will define terms. You are our tech guru. So tell the people them what even is AI other than artificial intelligence? What even is that?
I don't know how to like.
I'm like,
I don't
what
even
you
know
mean
how
you
to
don't
like.
know?
I don't really know how to explain. Like, okay, I'm gonna just. How do you put it into words?
Hmm.
It's like it models off of what you give it. So
What
if
is
you
it?
the machine. No, really, it's like you can think of it like a giant cloud, or because everyone thinks it's actually in the cloud. It's a room full of servers, full of
Okay.
computers, and you give that computer a bunch of information, and then you give it instructions on what to do with that information. So, like, I'm gonna use facial recognition because that is one use of AI before it was put out to the world. I don't know if we can still use that, but anyways, you
What,
would
facial
give it a bunch.
recognition?
Yeah, I don't
Didn't
think
your
we can.
phone use it to unlock?
I'm dead. That
Is
is
that
biometrics. That's
is
separate.
it not recognizing my face? I don't.
It's recognizing points of your face, but it's
Oh,
not trying to find you in the lineup of people.
got you. But
So
it would be able to do that. Like if y'all passed my phone down, it wouldn't only unlock
it
for
would
my
know that it's
face.
not you because of what,
Ah.
like, in the event, God forbid, someone that has used facial recognition and their face gets distorted, it will never unlock for their face. And I don't think you can remove it unless you use the face unlock. I don't think I think that's one of the things that Apple included in it. I want to say you can use your pin, but I think you can't. I think the only way you can get to that port is through facial
Mm.
recognition. But like it uses an algorithm, basically mathematical functions, to figure out certain features about your face. So let's say they're looking for someone in a crowd, they have a picture of your face and they use mathematical equations to find something that looks as close to your face. That's why when they say that, I don't know if lawyers have used this, but that's why they try to challenge AI because it's a bunch of algorithms and you don't know if the math is 100% correct. Just like
Mm.
you like Chat GPT, what it's doing, it's taking a mix of what you put in because it's
Mm-hmm.
taking data from us and it's saying, okay, this is how you structure, let's say, an essay, right? Then along with that, it scrapes the internet, and web scraping is basically like it goes to different websites and it reads what's there, it takes the information, and based on what an essay looks like, it will formulate an essay based on information that's there and what data points they have from multiple essays. And then it formulates the essay that you get out from
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT. So it's literally like that's why a lot of people, you can actually create your own AI that will do things based on your habits. The AI that everyone uses, it has all of your data. Whatever you put in, that's essentially the data that you're giving it. So it has everyone's data that they're putting in and formulating some type of information from that.
Mm.
It's not necessarily like, oh, this is how you respond and this is how you act. That's why there's some people that like make friends with AI. Shit is so weird. Or have relationships because
I
that
get being
AI,
kind. Like I'll say thank you to my devices because like if God forbid there's a rise of the Argonauts over here,
man,
just
throw some
remember I
water
was
on
nice
that
to
bitch. Splash. Now you're dead.
you.
But like you're not. I'm sorry. You're not standing up and coming at me. I'm throwing you in a bottle of water. Um,
You with the shower hose.
right. But that's literally what AI is and machine learning. It's you're giving it a bunch of data, and it's learning from them data, those data points. That's why when
Mm.
I think it was the facial tracking that Facebook had with their little, I think it was called the portal, and and it would only track white people and Asian people is because the developers when they were developing and doing the testing, they were the majority people that were in the room. So it was learning like, okay, a face is a white person. It's not funny, but it's like, oh, this
Yo.
is what a face looks like. It should be this shade, and then that's a face. So the camera will pan to you. But if you were any other race or even a woman, it wouldn't pan to you. So that's why they had to fix that. That's why there's what is it called? I forgot what they call it, but they're like there needs to be more minorities in the engineering space because there's gonna have these flaws. Just like, they was like, oh, like find a bunch of faces, like find the criminal, and the data pool that they used, it wasn't.
Yep. Yep.
It was finding certain people. So we feed it the information. So that's why AI has biases, and that's why a lot of people are like against AI because the people that are creating it, you can put what you want into that machine.
Yeah.
You can put whatever data you want, and it'll base it off that. So, because a lot of people's like, oh, we should use AI for like court proceedings and stuff, and like to give sentences and
Mm-mm.
stuff. Like,
Mm-mm.
no, because
Mm-mm.
historically, people
Right.
get 2 and 3 times more of the time based on their race, and it could be a first offense. Like,
Right.
if
They're
you
gonna be like 35 years to 100
you get
for
a
a
speeding
nickel
ticket,
bag
it'd
of
be like
weed or
5 years.
something.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Exactly.
What are you talking
Please.
about? But
Please.
like that's basically it's just a machine that you feed in information because you can build your own AI for yourself and have it kind of spit out how you respond in life.
I
But
need an AI to grade for me. I'm tired of grading.
I'm weak.
I don't want to. If you don't want to write it, I don't want to grade it.
Father God.
No,
But
but
yeah,
I've
so
only ever used it for editing purposes.
I'm
And
trying to
that's
think.
just
The most I've used it for was like maybe my resume because
editing.
they be like, oh, you need to have these hot words and all this shit, and I'm like, man, change it and make sure each bullet point has these type of like, and I'm like, that's yeah, I don't know, do I? What?
Yeah. Please, Gino, stop. Because Gino's giving me the side eye because I said I've only ever used it for editing purposes. To be fair, I've only ever used it to edit something I've never had to do before. So, like when I had to write the college application, the college recommendations letter, I never had to write that before. So, I needed to make sure that I had, using the model that they gave me, using the one that I wrote, did I hit all the points? Was I good? Was I missing something? But outside of that, I usually, because I can pretty much do it myself. Like, I know how to write. Um, and oh, and like my sheets formulas when it doesn't work and I know it should work, I'll be like, what's wrong? Why it's not working? So I do that. That's it.
God.
Because unlike Jax, where Jax will be, she has to her credit, she has explained to me multiple times. She was like, code is very finicky. It could be something like a comma is not formatted properly, and so that's why it's not working. But because I don't know what she knows about code, I can't tell. What's wrong with finicky?
No, I said semicolon, but yes.
Oh, I'm like,
comma is more so in like a method. It's not in the middle of the code. But yes, continue.
Even like I don't know. So when I type stuff, I'm expecting it to do a certain thing. So when it be like formula parse error, and I'm like, all I did was a VLOOKUP. I could do a VLOOKUP in my fucking sleep. What's wrong? It'll be like, oh, here's what you got to do, and that stuff. And then I learned, like, okay, so I had done like a VLOOKUP for something that I had did a import range, and it was like you got to give it the permission first, and then you got to like do. I had to take a couple steps for the VLOOKUP the proper information, and then I got it fixed. So it's like stuff like that, like
right.
And
like
even then,
parse, it literally means the same in English and in coding. So
yeah.
if you know the
So
definition of that, you can kind of figure out what the fuck
yeah.
is missing.
But even that, I'm like, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't have to do it for the same thing. Like, once I learn how to do it, I don't need it again unless I do it and something's wrong. And then it's usually a new error that's wrong. So yeah. But like, I had a colleague ask me like a week or so ago. She was like, "Oh, what AI do you use to take notes?" The autistic AI, like the autistic eye. I don't know. I don't use AI for notes. I just type what you say. She was like, really? Because your notes are always so like thorough. I hope so. I could type more than like 85 words per minute. I can pretty much keep up with your rate of speech. I can write what you said.
Yeah.
So she was like,
I
oh,
like
because I.
do voice recording, and then like I'll record the professor and I'll write notes because sometimes my notes I'll look back and be like, what the fuck did I write? And I have to look
Yo. That's why I got to type
well,
my.
because
I
you
can't
have
hear
decent
right as fast as
handwriting.
you talk. Yeah. But I can
I
type
can
as
write
fast as
fast.
you.
I can write faster than I can talk. I mean, then I can type.
And I
So
type
like,
faster than I write. So.
I'll look and I'll be like turning the paper, like what letter is that? It's rough. It's rough.
Please. Do you think there's ever gonna come a point in time where AI officially replaces humans in like the workforce and any other capacities?
Yeah, no and yes. Yes
Okay,
and no.
explain.
No, because quantum computing is catching up, and there's going to be a problem with AI, with unethical hackers using machine learning. Because once you start telling the machine, okay, this is how you produce unethical code, because again, you can create your own AI. If you know how to code, you can create your own artificial intelligence, and you put in information and it spits it out. Because that's what a lot of like cybersecurity people do. That companies create whatever machine they feed it information like this is what you should look. This is the type of traffic you should look up that's coming in, and they also add it in their little honeypots so they can learn. They can learn like okay, this is some type of attack. This is what you need to do. If you are someone who decides to be an attacker and do that, and let's say your whole setup is based on AI, just like when you reach out to um, companies and you chat with
Hmm.
them, if you put a bot in there to talk with that bot, and then it's like you also have SIM spoofing, which is like someone spoofing your SIM card. That's why they want a lot of people to have eSIMs because it's harder to do it with that. But again, an eSIM is just a simulated SIM card. If you have a SIM spoofing and then you have a bot attacking that, and it's like, okay, this is the information, this is the data, you can literally gain access to someone's account straight
Mm.
off just chatting with a bot. Because as long as as long as the bot gets the input it's expecting, it's going to give you what you want. So I can say it'll take away like the baseline customer service line, but then there's certain levels where it's better to have a person, but also it's the incentive for the person not to just give up the company. There's a lot that plays into the security with
Yeah.
letting AI run everything. So
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think it'll take over completely for humans, but I think it will take over some capacities. Like you'll still need some humans to like override certain things, but I think it will in by and large customer service is about to be automated because you can address more people when it's automated versus you got to wait for a human, right? And I think if you just have the managers review the tax chat, like if something gets flagged, then it might go. But outside of that, it might be like here's the wiggle room, here's the blah 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 blah. I think it'll do that. I think
And the
like
companies
that.
will make more money because they'll have the AI just yes or no. That's why a lot of people like I want to talk to someone. They gotta feel my emotion. Emotion plays a big part in them bending or not to the customer.
Yeah,
So
and then I think there are jobs that are like that you have to do in person that might be preserved. Like a computer cannot be an electrical engineer. Like they cannot go to the site to repair the wires. So I think jobs like that are safe. But I'm like, is teaching safe? I don't know. But theoretically, yeah, because teaching is not just here's a bunch of facts. It's the process of how you think, not what you think. Um,
I mean, that
and I,
depends on where you are actually.
but
Because
I
if they
also
want you
like,
to learn a certain thing, then AI
yeah,
is
but
perfect
it,
because AI
but
can't, you know.
yeah, but I'm saying like, even if we were to just start using AI to replace teachers, the kids can't read the responses because they can't read. You need us to learn how to read. You know what I mean? You need us to be able to make sense of the information, to ask you the thought provoking questions to get you there, to help you grapple with the data versus just here is data. I think AI is very good at like here is information, but the teachers are the bridging points of like here is how to contextualize that information. Here is how to potentially use it. Now, here is an example. Let me see what you do, how you use it. And AI is not doing that. Also, when you go to school, you build up the ability to develop your social emotional skills. If everybody's learning from home, everyone's going to be socially awkward because they're never going to have to interact with one another. They're not going to learn how to work together. They're not going to learn any of the other things that you learn from being in person. You won't have any more science experiments. You won't learn math more easily with math manipulatives. You won't be touching books. Like there's a lot that in school experience gives you that you are robbed of if you just sit in front of a computer all day.
I agree, but also it depends on. There's some forces out there that want certain things taught, and if it's like, oh, we can remove the human to make sure this is taught, because again, 54% of Americans reading level,
Yeah.
and it's like things thrive when they are uneducated people. And if it's like, oh, well, this told me this, or I read this, then yeah. And it's again, it's like, yes, some people say ridiculous shit, but it's like,
Yeah.
well, then this is what I heard instead of what was said. Because a lot of people like to fake listen and be like, oh,
Right.
this is what I heard, and that's not what was said at all.
Exactly.
Or they missed what was said. So I don't think that AI is going to take over educate in the education field like at all. But if that's something that the powers that be want to happen to regulate what is taught, then possibly it could in certain regions.
But that's what I'm saying. To get to that piece, then the onus will be shifted to the parent. Well, then you have to teach your kid how to read. You have to teach your kid how to write. You have to teach your kid the skills because you don't have a teacher. And parents were complaining left and right through COVID, like, come take these damn kids. So I'm like, in theory, yeah, you could do that, but for them to be independent and use the tool, they have to have the skill to use the tool. Someone has to teach them how to use it. So you still need to be taught. And unless the parent is going to go to work 9 to 5 and then come home and spend a couple hours teaching their kid how to read or do a thing, you're still going to need someone else who actually knows how to teach. Because a lot of people think teaching is telling you what to do. And I'm like, no. My kids will tell you anytime they're like, oh, Miss A, I need help. What's the question? I don't understand it. What's it? Like, you got to be clear. Like, I'm teaching you to like think through like where exactly is my blockade? What information do I have? What do I still need to get? That's a thought process. So when the kids are like, you always answer my questions with a question, and you always answer your question.
Right.
But they don't realize that they're doing that until I'm there to be like, a lot of parents won't have the patience to do that, the space to do that, because when they come home, now they got to get dinner ready, and getting dinner ready, they got to try to get you together. Now you need help and you want that. That's a lot of moving parts, and they're just going to shout the answer at you or be like, if Johnny had 4 apples, that's not going to help me. I don't understand Johnny and his apples. So you yelling the question back at me don't help me better understand the question.
Right.
Like, so, yeah. I don't know. I believe some jobs will be automated. I don't believe every job, because it's like when they tried to do self checkout. You tried to have self checkout, but you still got a person at the self checkout.
Nah, it's not even that. It's like the self checkout. The flaw was people were stealing, and it wasn't technically they were stealing. They were scanning. They were scanning stuff. But again, it was like like people don't understand. Like, and it's terrible to say, but once you understand how a system works, you're gonna use that to your advantage. So it wasn't even that they were peeling off like a banana scan and scanning it for a fucking TV. Some people were even going to the actual checkout, either creating a clone of the website. That's why if you ever go to do if you've ever noticed, you go to do like price match, sometimes they'll shift your phone to make sure the actual app is responding. Some people will go to the length to just clone that page of the app and say, this is the price on this website. Y'all price with them. I want this price. So people would go make a clone of Amazon, make sure it says shipped and sold by Amazon to get a PS5 for $250. The PS5 is 700. Like, that people with the barcode thing, they would learn, okay, this is how you would make the barcode. They will make the barcode and make sure, like, oh, they scan it and it'll come up as the price that they want. Like, people were just, and it was like, okay, now we have a problem. We have to make sure that they go to the checkout. Like, and obviously people were scanning bananas for flat screen TVs, but I'm just saying they didn't expect these. They wanted to save money to not have people, and they lost thousands of dollars. And in New York, as long as you steal $999 worth of shit, you ain't going to jail.
So don't steal an iPhone.
Don't steal $1,000 plus items. That is when you get in trouble. But $999, it's not like when you deposit money in a bank and you try to, like, you know, because you know once you hit 10,000, it flags to the government. If you put like 9,999, it still gets flagged because it's like, oh, you're trying to bypass them not telling the government, and they're gonna watch your account. So you can do $999.
She putting you on game, guys.
Do not steal. But I'm just telling you, like, it's not like the same instance where if you do a transaction, or like some companies, they wait till you hit the 1,000. So you can do 500 this week, and you do 600 next week, thinking you good. You've passed the 1,000. Now you're going to jail. Like, so please,
they say, gotcha.
you know what you're putting down, but that's the thing. Like, they're trying to save money and cut corners using all of these things, but they forget that there's stuff that people can work around. And a lot of people, like you said, during COVID, they had time. A lot of people had nothing but time but to learn. And a lot of people, when you learn stuff, you don't use it for the greater good. You don't get paid for the greater good. Like,
well, that lets us know if Jax ever wakes up with powers.
I'm not saving nobody. The fuck? I'm here for my people only. Know that. Know that. Oh, I'm not doing no Avengers. We're not saving. Fuck all y'all.
She about to be, what was it? The Hellfire Club? Magneto was like, we stand for us. You're not one of us, you can go.
And do. Mind you, they started it with him. He was very peaceful. He was a peaceful man just trying to live his life. So I get it. Now burn them all. Yeah.
And then I'm over here, Professor X, hey. No. We could just. But no, she very much has been infecting the waters I'm drinking, because I'm like, you know, Magneto was on.
He was 100% like, come on.
But see, Magneto.
It was a certain set of people that violated him, and then he was like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. But also later on, y'all want to round us up. But you rounding us up now. You are weak. You rounding us up. You got the nerve to get caught. You got powers. So yeah. Yeah.
See,
yeah.
I think for me, I was cool until he was like, kids could get it too, and I was like, kids.
And I explained
Kids,
why.
that's where because kids
I've
don't fucking
explained
know. That's not fair. They just doing what the parents said. They don't have no control over thoughts, actions, none of that.
I've explained why they gotta go to. Now it's a certain age range, but it's like imagine you're 6 and you see a mutant blow your parents up in front of your eyes. You're gonna be like, yeah, when I get older, I'm going to the government. We're gonna capture y'all asses. Like, so they gotta go because now you're gonna be my adversary in 20 years. So now you gotta go. Now you gotta go. You gotta go right now. I don't want to give you 20 years. You got to go.
Yo.
But again, that's a fiction movie and book. And story.
Listen.
So that's why I'm like, but in real life, that's a little extreme. I agree.
And that was my own. I'm like, yo, if he just let the kids rock out, even Steven, I'm rocking with you. I get it. I'm with you. He was like, kids could get it too, and I was like, oh, not the children's.
In the
Not the
fictional world,
children's.
absolutely, they all gotta go. In the real world, damn. So-
Right. That's literally the only thing where I'd be like, because as an adult, you being nasty, you being hateful, full of bigotry, you deserve to get your fucking jaw rocked a couple times, a couple 2 pieces, so that you'll learn to watch your mouth. But as a kid, you're literally just copying someone else. Your brain's not fully fully formed yet. You don't fucking know. You're just doing what you saw somebody else do. Someone in your family that you love and trust and believe to be right. But then I've seen where kids
is think of racism. As a kid, you're not born racist, but you see what your parents do, what their parents say, with all that. And if you're in a little town and that's where you grow up, that is all you grow up to know. And now you become one of those people.
Yes, but then you get the people that expose. But
But
hold on, because then you get the people that get exposed to something different and it changes their perspective. Like, I'm a prime example of that. I grew up in one of the most homophobic ass houses. I'll never forget. My pops was like, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. I'll never forget. And then I learned, and even he learned. And now both of us are like, live life as long as you're happy and not hurting yourself or others. Do you, boo? But we both had to learn that. I learned it first because I was in school with other people that had different backgrounds. He learned it after the fact because his circles started to shift when he started going to work. But in that little pocket of community, everybody had the same mentality. Everybody 60s, 50s had the same mindset.
It's a 50-50.
And so that's why I'm like, because of that, at least you put them on a watch list. You put them on a watch list. You pepper in some exposure to something else to see if they adapt. Do they like start to change? You got to give them a chance. You can't just be like.
That's the thing. Like, so Xavier had the power to read motherfuckers' minds. So if I'm Magneto, why you ain't tell me these motherfuckers is thinking the way they thinking? Then we zap them. How about that?
Because he was also very much.
And we get rid of the bad one.
I can't even say that he was like trying to, because Magneto don't hold a candle to Charles Xavier when it comes to the bad shit he's done. Like,
I'm just saying, you know,
like, I don't think people recognize that he was a true villain. Like, Charles Xavier tried to kill from the womb.
his sister.
Yeah, he tried to kill Casanova from inside the womb. Like, you're not even here yet.
Like Xavier be ODing. Like, people don't understand. Like, that's
Yo.
the thing. Xavier be ODing so much that his best friend was like, "Nah, I'm gonna build a helmet, cause you be like, let you get mad. Now my brain is melted. Like, no. Like that's why it was like, oh, Magneto was all to save the mutants.
Yeah, and he was very. You're right. And Charles was like, "Can we just be peaceful?" So he was just trying to like, he would do stuff.
That just, he tried to kill his sister.
Yeah, like when I say be
some realm, like
Yeah.
come on, nah.
But she was wild. Okay, but and that he could see that she was wilding and was gonna wild out because she did. But the other shit he did, I'm like, I get it, but no.
Her
Like with
impediment would
Jean,
have been
like when he met Jean Grey when she was a kid, he knew she was a telekinetic and a telepath, and he blocked her powers from her because he was like, "You're gonna be a danger to yourself. I gotta put."
like,
But then the bitch turned into the Phoenix Force. Like, come on, come on, come on! You gotta give him grace.
no grace. No grace.
A little bit of grace.
Because you got the power to tell what motherfuckers' powers is. You gonna be like, yeah, no. I don't think you're gonna be a good person. Block.
Yo.
What? How you gonna block something that you don't need? And that's why
Yeah.
he Magneto all day.
Yeah. And then there was one. So we all know Wolverine is part of the X-Men, and one of the things that okay, but again, one of the things that he did. So Wolverine wasn't when he was. I forget which run this was, but there was he had gone to the mansion, not to like help, but he was gonna like take Professor X out, not on a date. And so X like just reprogrammed his mind a little bit, and then he fell in love with the X-Men and joined the team.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was
It's for the good of the people.
very much when I seen the movie, I'm like, was he going there to kill? Wait, what's happening? What storyline they going with? Because this is not how this is supposed to happen. But
and the reason why that was like so wild is because Wolverine was there. He had already been like broken and reprogrammed the hard way, and then he shows up, and Professor X is like, "Oh, you here to take me? Alright, let me change your mind. Let me tell you that you're here to join the X-Men." And then he joined the X-Men. Everything was fine. Everything was great. So when he does bad things, they have good outcomes. So it's fine.
He would have been better off just taking motherfuckers out, honestly. Like, oh,
Yo.
you mad?
And there was one, I forget what her name was. Oh my gosh, she was in one of the X-Men movies too. She was in the Wolverine, and like she had the ability, like as long as she touched you, she could tell you what to do. She had the power of persuasion. I can't remember her name. I can see her face. I can't remember. And she was like, "You're gonna walk until your feet hurt. Like you should walk till you die." And she made that man walk, and he got interrupted in the walk, and that's the only thing that saved his life. But he was gonna walk to his death. She had him walking in the desert.
Yikes.
But yeah, so my last question, because I just saw a post not too long ago where somebody was like, in the Matrix, the only way to get out was to use a payphone or a landline. And now none of us have that. Do you think we're in the Matrix, right? So I was like, that's a cute question. But to that end, do you think that sci-fi movies that hint at the destruction of humanity at the hands of AI are closer to coming to fruition? Or are you like, nah, that's complete malarkey, could never happen?
Total Recall. But no, yeah, absolutely. Because the thing, like, we're throwing out, there's so much e-waste, and it literally cannot decompose. It takes decades and centuries for it to happen. So I don't know if y'all seen Wall-E, but it's gonna be like Wall-E. Just a bunch of damn robots and shit. Oh, you should. It's a really cute movie. See, watch it with your nieces.
Sounds nice. Sad. I don't want to watch that.
It.
You just said it was a bunch of dead robots, and I remember Wall-E was like, Wall-E.
Yeah. On Earth.
First off, how you see Wall-E and we got that question wrong at the game show?
No, we didn't get it wrong because Gino got it right. Gino
okay.
Because he got us.
What do you mean? Because he what?
He would have seen it more than once. It came out when I was in high school, so that I went to see it with my friend. We all went to see it. Yeah.
I don't know when it came out. I don't know nothing about it.
Maybe I want to say I was in 10th grade, so I was either 15 or 16. So that would have been 08, 07?
Yeah, 08. Where was I in 08? In college?
College.
Okay. You didn't have to say it like that. All right.
I have younger siblings, so
I have younger siblings
that I grew up with, and we watched a lot of Disney movies together.
Fair. Touche. Okay.
So that's why it was one or two answers. I couldn't remember exactly which one. Anyways, it was really good. Like Earth was a bunch of like, junk and robots, and everyone was in a spaceship, fat, flowing wheelchairs. But it was a good movie. It shows like caring and stuff. It's a good movie.
Not your hand showing us your Pokemon card back there. Other side.
Oh, my Lugia. Like,
You went like this and it like highlighted.
sorry, it's my big Lugia, card. But yeah, big Pokemon.
Ooh, that's
They got
pretty. Give me it.
jumbo cards. No, I can give you a Pikachu though. I have a bunch of Pikachu.
I'll take a Pikachu. Pika Pika.
Yeah.
So yeah, so do you think it'll be on some like iRobot type, or you're saying no, it'll be more like Wall-E where the earth is just littered with dead
Maybe more
robots?
like Resident Evil. No, but
Please no, because that no.
Alice gonna fuck us up. Alice
You're
gonna
all
fuck us
going to
up.
die down here. No, please.
I'm gonna watch that movie today. Love that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite movie. I it really depends, but because at the rate of everything happening, it's gonna be like resources are gonna start dwindling down, and
Do you think we'll be alive to see that, or is that like the Gen Alphas are gonna be
I
alive to see
pray to
that?
God that Gen Alpha's the one. I'm sorry, babies. I can't live through no more one in a lifetime situations. I done been through enough. Please. But
Yeah.
I think it might be, if it's not them, it's maybe a generation or two after them. But
Or
I
maybe
don't
they'll
know.
be the ones to figure out a way to reverse or be, because wasn't there somebody that made like plastic into usable gasoline?
Plastiline.
Yeah.
Okay, so that actually existed. It already exists. It's just oil makes money. So they rather use oil. But all the fucking plastic we have in the world, you can literally use that. Now, hey, but it's really if the giants decide, they really decide if we're gonna live or die on this earth.
Pretty much.
It's sad to say, like, but all the billionaires really determine, like, whether we're gonna get wiped out or not. And the reason why I think that, I don't know if y'all watched the show called Silo on fucking Apple TV. It's really
No,
good.
I haven't.
Slow as fuck. And
Never
it's
gonna
kind of,
watch it.
for us, it's kind of very predictable. But I think if you're watching like 2x speed, you enjoy it.
Okay.
But it really depends on the powers that be.
Mhm.
Like, had certain events, certain presidents won at certain times, we would be in a better place. But yeah,
But people be racist, and so sometimes you lead with your racism, and then when you lose your resources being racist, then you look at the ones that you tried to oppress and be like, "Where'd my stuff go? You threw it out, dummy."
yeah. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, because they make them robots, but their robots aren't as advanced as the robots in China. They A1.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we have some like Rise of the Machines or some iRobot type shit,
You just gonna keep
God
your bucket of
bless.
water?
you better have what is it called? EMP? Keep EMPs with you.
Yo,
That's the only way you're gonna be able to take them out.
what happened to you? You was it like, I'ma just throw water at you? No, you're not throwing water
A
no more.
robot. I don't know. You gotta throw it into the water. Yeah, you gotta like submerge that bitch. Speaking of robots, I broke my phone again today. Do y'all know how tight I am? My robot flew out my pocket. It's crazy. Yo, it was I just before we end.
Yo.
The phone is in the pocket. Imagine, deep in the pocket. I open my car door. The door managed to lift it up and make it fly out my pocket. I don't know how.
Your phone said, "I'm tired of this shit, Grandpa."
You never turn me
Yo.
off, bitch. I'm gonna turn myself
Yo.
off. So
I literally be trying to time it to auto restart while we live because I don't pick up my phone no way.
now I'm
I
inclined
be
to get a
trying.
case, because I was like, oh, I don't need no case. I got Apple Care. I was expecting to use it maybe once a year. I'm using it twice in less than 2 months. This is a travesty.
Thank you, Gino. She stay cooking me with these goddamn age comments. Fuck her.
Ah! What
He
age comment?
said
Oh, the
Jax
Wally?
be right. I was like, when was I to the in college? All right. All
Because
right, with
I
your
was in
fat
the house
breath,
with
please.
bro. Fat breath.
Yo. And it's even funnier because I was talking to your sister last week and somebody pissed off and she was like, this fat bitch. I was like, why is everything fat to
They
you?
not fat.
It be a person, not at all. And it could be a fat person, a fat pen. Of anything is fat if it pisses them off.
Shout out to Miss Pepper. It's my mom's fault.
Yo.
Everything's fat.
Yo, everything and everyone. Don't piss them off because now you fat. You could be a whole size 00, but you fat when you piss them off. Oh my god.
My mom's fault. Like we would go looking at her snack, she'd be like, "Look what your fat eyes want." Wow. Everything's fat now. Sorry. That's my mom's fault.
Yo. My goodness. So you gonna get a new phone? You gonna get you a new robot? What you gonna do?
We're gonna get her repaired. I don't even know if y'all can see it.
No.
Nah, the camera. Oh, well, yeah, she's getting repaired. And it's crazy because it fell on its face, but the back cracked again. In the same spot. Yo. Where's my Galaxy? I don't know where it's at. But I'm gonna take another picture and I'm gonna be like, look, bitch. It looks exactly the same like the other break.
Can you angle it down so it's not, so we limit the reflection so we can see it?
I don't know.
I said angle it and she got it.
Angle it down. I don't think you can.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I see it. Put it like towards you, like that. Like do that. What am I? This is why I couldn't teach you how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Thank you. Now we can see it. You don't gotta angle it because it's on you. We can see that big old. You just say it's the Spider-Man edition. You alright?
Oh my god.
Yeah, just say that's the WebEx edition.
It's because I don't want it to get like I don't want to fuck around and it get water damage. Because if it gets water damage while it's cracked, I gotta pay $100. I gotta get a whole new phone. They don't fix water damage.
Oh.
That's why I gotta get it fixed immediately.
So you going to the Apple store today? Tomorrow?
I could.
You going tomorrow?
But it take like an hour.
That's dirty.
I'll probably go Wednesday when I'm in the office. Go to Grand.
Yeah, I'm like, just go when you out. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Hi, guys. We officially started our book club. We're very excited, or I am. I was so excited. I started reading my book.
I'm 70 pages. Yeah, I'm 70 pages in.
You like it?
Yeah.
You a liar.
The only part, no, I'm not lying. The only part that I skipped was when she was talking about prom. Like she was using the prom as her example. I said, no, bitch. I got through like the first two and I was like, all right, next chapter. Like, no.
No, I mean, her example there was just like thinking, oh, like I got this down. And then it being like, no, I don't got it.
No, I don't got it. Yeah. When she started, I was like, okay. And I was like, this doesn't apply to me.
I mean, you keep reading though, because you might catch a gem. Goodness, you just like It
was 3 pages.
You don't know what was in them 3 pages. Now go back and read them just to see. You might catch a gem for yourself. We need all the gems we can get. But yes, I'm very excited. We started the book club, and we will be meeting next month to talk about the book. And I feel like this is a really good place to start too. Especially with where we all are in our lives and careers and whatnot. So that's great. I forgot to share that high with y'all. But yes, it has been real. It has been lovely. We've enjoyed our time with y'all this week. Jax, will we be here next week? 19?
I want to say yes, because I believe Saturday is Chantel's birthday thing. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll let you know right now. Father God. Where is that? Okay. It says the 18th. Is it a slumber party or we just having a pajama party? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes for now.
Well, if it changes, you guys won't know because we won't be live to tell y'all until hopefully next Sunday.
I'm looking. I believe it's just a pajama party.
Well, girl, you gotta let the people them know so they know if they gotta tune in or not.
Yes, tune in. If
Tune
anything,
in.
I'm doing on my phone. But yes, tune in.
Okay, so tune in. We'll be here next week. Thanks for rocking and rolling with us. I want to talk about next week. I want to talk about the website you sent me last week.
What the fuck is you talking about?
Where the
Did you
teacher was like,
get
we
in
can't.
trouble?
Where the teacher was
Oh.
like, we can't trust certain websites anymore. Let's talk about the state of information. Now, we talked about AI. Now let's talk about the eye.
Nah, please. The eye is intelligence, not information.
I know. But where do you get your intelligence from? Your acquisition of information. So
You right. You right.
now
you
we're
right.
gonna talk about cause we need to unpack that.
Yeah,
So
'cause
next
that
week
was wrong.
we'll be taking a deep dive into the state of this country specifically with like information, intelligence, all of that. Oh, that's pretty. You giving that one to me? Is that the
Yeah,
one?
we have a
Cause
bunch
she
of
pretty.
these, yeah.
She cute. All
I'm
right.
not gonna show you a binder though.
I know I'm gonna get. Can you give me the measurements? Cause then I can get a little frame for her. She looks like a 4x6.
Oh, I was about to say you can get the big Pokemon card binder. They're like $5.
Oh, or a little frame, and I'll put her at my desk
Yeah.
and look at her longingly. All right, folks. We will be back next week talking about the state of the country in regards to information and can we trust it. With that, we're gonna throw this big ass raid on somebody. We can go to my boy PTD Migo. He is playing Pal World. We're gonna go love up on him right quick. I hope he is staying alive for a little bit. It's not letting me copy the name. Oh, there we go. We're gonna go watch him play some Pal World. Thanks for rocking and rolling with us, party people. We will see y'all next week. We out.